So here I've labeled a triangle and it has angles A, B, C and also sides A, B, C. And what the law of sines is that sine A over A is equal to sine B over B is equal to sine C over C. And basically what the law of sines is, in simpler terms, is any angle, the sine of any angle over the corresponding side of that angle. So like for example, this angle, the corresponding side would be this side, A, because it's opposite to that angle. And all of that is equal to the sine of any angle, any other angle, over the length of the corresponding side, which is the side opposite of that angle. And this law only works if you have two angles and one side. And so for example, if you have this angle and this angle are given and any of the other sides are given, this one, or this one, then you can use the law of sines. So let's say we're given this triangle where we need to find the missing side and we have some other angles and sides given already. Well, we need to look at the triangle to see if we can use the law of sines to find the missing side. So, since we have two angles and one other side, we can use the law of sines because if we have two angles and a side, we can use law of sines to find any other missing measurement in the angles or sides. So, since we have this x right here, we want to include this x in the equation we will be using. So we need to put something over x, which is the side length. And the something over that will be the sine over the corresponding angle of that side. And the corresponding angle will be 115. So sine 115 is equal to. And we need to look for another pair of angle and side we have that are already given the measures of. So here we have 48 degrees and 11. And they are corresponding sides and angles because they are opposite from one another. So we can use those. So sine 48 over 11. And to simplify this, we can use cross multiplication to try to get x isolated. So I get 11 times sine 115 is equal to sine 48 times x. And if you plug this into your calculator, you get 11 times 0.91 is equal to 0.74 x. And by plugging this into your calculator, you get x is equal to 14.1. And that's pretty easy. However, sometimes there can be a special case such that there might be two possible answers that you can get. This is known as the ambiguous case. If you have two sides and an angle that's not in between those two sides, such as this 30 right here is not in between the 10 and 12, then you will get two possible answers and you need to calculate both accordingly. So if we have sides 10, 12, and angle 30 degrees opposite of the side that's 12 units long, and we want to find this angle x opposite of side that's 10 units long, we can use the law of sines and we will get two possible answers that you need to figure out. So we have this 30 degrees and 12. We can do sine 30 over 12 and set this equal to sine x over 10. Pretty easy. Now we multiply both sides by 10 to get sine of x isolated. So sine of x is equal to 10 sine 30 over 12. And if you use the arcsine function on your calculator and plug in 10 sine 30 over 12 into that, then you get x is equal to 24.6 degrees, or around 24.6. However, there are two answers, but it looks like we only got one. But that is because using the arcsine function only outputs one value. And if you learn about the unit circle or how angles work, then you know that there are two possible values. If you have like sine x is equal to 0.5, then you know there are two possible values for x, and it's the same for this as well. So we have one of them, which is 24.6, and for the other one, when you want to do 180, minus the other number, so 180 minus 24.6, which is equal to 155.4. And our two answers are 24.6 and 155.4. However, you can't just leave it like this where you have two possible answers, even though in some cases you will have two possible answers, but you always have to check. So since we have one other angle, and we need to check if it is possible to have the other angle in the triangle with this angle. So how to do that is we add the angles together. So 30 and 24.6 is around 55 degrees. So yes, this can fit in the triangle. However, if we do 30 plus 155.4, that's over 180 degrees, which is the total amount of degrees in the triangle. So this is not a possible answer, and 24.6 degrees is our only answer. Now let's do some practice problems. If you think you know how to solve for x, then pause the video and try it. But in this triangle, we're given two angles and another side, and as we discussed before, if you are given two angles and another side that's anywhere in the triangle, then you can use the law signs to find any other angle or side in the triangle. So to find x, we just find any pairs we have of angles and sides. So we have 49 and 18 centimeters, so sine 49 over 18 is equal to sine 63 over x because they're opposite of each other. So sine 63 over x. And again, we just cross multiply. So x times sine 49 is equal to sine 63 times 18. And sine 49 and we should divide both sides by sine 49 so we get x isolated. So x is equal to sine 63 times 18 over sine 49. And if you plug this into your calculator, you get x is around 21.4 centimeters. And so what we did here is just we used law signs. We use all of the given data we had, the angles and the sides. We put them in the law signs, and we also put the missing variable x, and then we simplified it down to find the measure of x. Now let's do another practice problem. If you think you know how to solve for x, then pause the video and try it. But in this problem, this is the ambiguous case, where we're given two sides and an angle that is not in between those two sides. We have side length 6 and side length 10 and an angle 30, and we need to solve for this angle x. So we already know we have 30 degrees is opposite of this side, and we're given the length of it, so sine 30 over 6 is equal to, and we can also do sine x over 10, sine x over 10, and multiply both sides by 10, and you get sine x is equal to 10 sine 30 over 6. And if you use the arcsine function on your calculator, you get x is equal to 56 degrees. However, we must remember that there are two answers for this. So we must do 180 minus 56, and then we get 124. So x is equal to 124 or 56. However, we must double check if these actually work. So we can do 56 plus 30 to see if it's under 180, and 56 plus 30 is 86. So yes, it is under 180 degrees. So it is a valid solution. We can do 30 plus 124, and if that's under 180, then that's also a valid solution, and it is, because 30 plus 124 is 154, which means 124 degrees is a valid solution for x. And this means that both these answers could be right. We don't know unless we have more information about the triangle, but x is equal to 56 degrees or 124 degrees, and those are both correct answers for this problem. So everything that I explained in this video and all the problems that I went through in this video is to teach you everything that you need to know about the basics of law of sines and how to use them to solve for missing side lengths or missing angles in triangles. If you still have questions, then I would recommend rewatching the video or leaving a comment down below. And if you learned some things from this video, then please consider liking or subscribing as it helps us out a lot.